Hello everyone. Today we will explain Mad Max Fury Road. Let's dive in. At the beginning of the story, a man is shown in the crowd whose name is Max. Max used to be a policeman in the past, but now in this world, there is no police, no leaders, and no order. A nuclear war broke out between people, and after the nuclear war, radiation was released into the air. The entire Earth became barren, and only a few people survived on the planet. Max, along with his family, was in Mexico, but all of them have died. Max passes by in his car, and at that moment, a convoy of vehicles arrives, which crashes into Max's car and flips it over. After this, Max is captured and taken prisoner. They take him with them and tattoo his back, which reads O negative, Max's blood group, as he is a universal donor. In reality, these people have made Max their slave. Before this, Max had escaped from the clutches of slavery, but they catch him again. All these people work for Immortan Joe, who is the most powerful person here. He wears a special kind of mask on his face, with 2 pipes attached to both sides. Through this mask, he is able to breathe, meaning it is essential for him to wear it to stay alive. Immortan Joe lives at the top of a mountain. Below there are many people who are very weak. He tells them, "You will all rise to my place. I am the liberator." After this, he releases water from above. Seeing the water, everyone becomes very happy. In this era, there is a severe shortage of water, and people are constantly dying of hunger and thirst. That is why everyone fights for water. Here, a girl is shown whose name is Furiosa, and she also works for Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe had sent her with some of his people to the fuel station to get fuel. Before reaching the fuel station, she turns her vehicle towards the east. One of her men asks, "We were supposed to go straight," but she says, "We will go east." No one can disobey her orders because she is the most senior. Therefore, all the vehicles head east. Immortan Joe observes this entire scene from above through binoculars. He rushes into a chamber where he had imprisoned 5 girls. These girls were meant to bear children so that his lineage could continue, but he realizes that all 5 girls are missing. He understands that Furiosa has taken them with her. He orders his people to chase them. The war boys, hearing this, become very excited because they are ready to even give their lives for Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe, whose real name is not known, is suffering from an illness caused by nuclear radiation, which is why he and his followers need blood. This is why they have captured Max. Here, a boy is shown who is very weak but wants to prove himself to everyone. He attaches Max to the front of his vehicle. A pipe is connected to Max's body, through which blood flows into the body of the war boy to give him energy. This way, he can join the battle and become a martyr for Immortan Joe. In this world, becoming a martyr is a matter of pride. Meanwhile, Furiosa is shown reaching another territory, and the people there start chasing her in their vehicles. One by one, all of Furiosa's companions are killed. The war boys, who want to capture Furiosa, arrive there and fight with the people of the other territory, killing them all. But before they can capture Furiosa, a massive sandstorm approaches. Furiosa drives her vehicle into the storm, and the war boy, who has Max attached to the front of his vehicle, also follows her into the storm. When the war boy gets close to Furiosa's vehicle, he pours a large amount of petrol into his own vehicle because he wants to set it on fire and sacrifice himself to stop Furiosa. But before he can do so, Max grabs his hand, and in the next moment, his vehicle crashes into Furiosa's large vehicle. The war boy's vehicle flips over. The next morning, it is shown that the storm has completely subsided. Max is still alive, but the war boy is dead. Max, who is chained, picks up the war boy's body and carries it on his shoulder to the vehicle where Furiosa and the 5 girls had escaped. The 5 girls are still there. Max points a gun at them and orders them to cut the chains. While one of the girls is cutting the chains, Furiosa attacks Max. A fight breaks out between them, and at that moment, the war boy, who was chained to Max, gets up. It turns out he wasn't dead, just unconscious. He is determined to capture Furiosa, at any cost to claim a reward from Immortan Joe. The war boy and Max together manage to completely subdue Furiosa. The war boy, happy with the outcome, cuts Max's chains. But Max punches him, takes the vehicle, and escapes with Furiosa and the 5 girls. Furiosa tells the girls, "If you want to survive, come with me," because Immortan Joe's entire army is coming to capture them. Max drives the vehicle he took from there, but after some distance, it stops due to a lack of fuel. Furiosa catches up to them, and Max says, "I've set a sequence in this vehicle. It won't move without me." Therefore, Max has to take all of them with him in the vehicle. They all move forward and reach a rocky, mountainous area. Furiosa says, "This is their territory. I made a deal with them. I don't know if they'll let us pass." They enter the territory. The mountain people, the leader of this group, says, "You told us only a few people would be chasing you, but here, 3 war parties are after you. In exchange for letting them pass, Furiosa had promised to give them oil. Before Furiosa can detach the oil tanker attached to the back of their vehicle, she sees that Immortan Joe and his army are about to catch up to them. Max starts the vehicle and they manage to escape. Everyone somehow fits into the vehicle. The mountain people blast a rock in front, completely blocking the path behind them. Immortan Joe and his army, led by a man named Rictus, are forced to stop outside. The mountain people, who are all skilled bikers, start chasing Max and Furiosa on their bikes. Max and Furiosa take them down one by one. However, before they can move further, Immortan Joe and his men catch up to their vehicle. Immortan Joe is about to shoot when one of the 5 girls is pushed out of the vehicle. This girl is pregnant, carrying Immortan Joe's child, which is why he doesn't fire. He doesn't want to harm the child at any cost, as it is crucial for his lineage. Immortan Joe tries everything to stop the vehicle. He fires a chain from his vehicle, which gets stuck in the steering of Furiosa's vehicle, causing them to lose control. Meanwhile, the pregnant girl, who had been outside, cuts the chain. Before they can regain control, they see a cliff ahead. Max manages to turn the vehicle just in time, but the door collides with the cliff. The girl who had cut the chain is now hanging outside the vehicle. As she tries to get back inside, her foot slips, and she ends up dangling from the door. The door breaks and she falls to the ground. Immortan Joe, seeing this, swerves his vehicle to the left to save her, causing his vehicle to flip over. He gets out of the vehicle and rushes to the girl who is carrying his unborn child. Meanwhile, Max and Furiosa continue their journey with the remaining girls hidden in the vehicle. The Immortan Joe guy hiding in their car says, "I had the chance to capture you all and go to heaven with my comrades, but I missed it." Then a girl there came up to him and said, "Maybe you have something better in store for you," and put her hand to his lips. The group continues to drive through the night, with Max and Furiosa realizing that Immortan Joe's entire convoy is still chasing them. To escape, Max sets up dynamite on the ground and drives away. When Immortan Joe's convoy reaches the dynamite, it explodes, halting their pursuit. Max and Furiosa's vehicle continues to move forward, but before they can get far, their tire gets stuck in a muddy swamp. The war boy, who had previously wanted to kill them, now offers to help. He suggests tying a cable from the vehicle to a dry tree nearby to pull it out of the swamp. They tie the cable to the dry tree and manage to pull the vehicle out of the swamp. Meanwhile, the pursuing vehicles catch up and start firing at them. Just as they are about to be overwhelmed, their vehicle is freed from the swamp and they drive away. Max grabs a can of oil and heads toward the pursuing vehicle, as they have no weapons left. Moments later, an explosion occurs, and Furiosa fears Max has been killed. However, Max survives and launches the pursuing vehicle into the air, destroying. After the explosion, Max rejoins the group and they continue their journey. They drive through the night, and by morning they are moving through the desert. Furiosa spots a tower in the distance and recalls that she lived near a similar tower in her childhood. They reach the tower, and Furiosa introduces herself, sharing her name, her clan, and her mother's name. They are greeted by a group of female bikers who are part of a matriarchal society. Furiosa reunites with her mother. The group recognizes the opportunity and decides to head to the Green Place, which Furiosa believes is still habitable. However, an elderly woman informs her that the Green Place is no longer livable. Hearing this, Furiosa is deeply saddened. They then plan to cross the dry salt flats to find a new place to live. Max decides not to go with them, choosing his own path instead. As everyone prepares to leave, Max has a vision of a little girl he couldn't save in the past. He feels guilty for not being able to save her. This vision motivates him to return to Furiosa and the group. He tells them that going in the direction they are heading will only lead to more salt flats, and they should instead return to Immortan Joe's citadel, where there is water and greenery. Furiosa agrees with Max, and they decide to head back to the citadel. They start their journey back in the same vehicle with the oil tanker. On the way, they encounter Immortan Joe and his convoy. Immortan Joe realizes that Furiosa is heading back to the citadel and begins chasing them. Max and Furiosa fight off many of Joe's men, but Immortan Joe manages to capture one of the 5 girls. Furiosa, however, manages to reach Immortan Joe's vehicle and kills him by ripping off his breathing mask. Many of Immortan Joe's followers are killed in the chaos. The vehicle with the oil tanker crashes into Immortan Joe's convoy, causing a massive explosion. Furiosa is severely injured, and Max realizes she needs a blood transfusion. He donates his blood to save her, and she recovers. They then reach the citadel, where the remaining soldiers and people are. When the people see Immortan Joe's dead body, they rejoice. Justice has been served, and water is now freely distributed to everyone. The citadel, which has a machine to extract water from the ground, becomes a place where no one will suffer from water scarcity. Max, having fulfilled his responsibility, quietly leaves. The story ends here.